Is that the first thing he said?
Huh?
Make sure you show up. Is that the first thing he said?
Oh, he's yelling at you.
Yeah.
I know.
My office is right next to him. I see him every day. I just was off the phone with him.
Are we on time? Yes, we are. Okay. It is 7 p.m. I'm calling to order the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Harrison Township for May 13, 2025. Mr. Gleason, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Brado?
Here.
Mr. Gleason? Here. Mr. Leonetti?
Here.
Miss Oparka? She's excused. Miss Torp?
Here. Approval of the agenda should be in your packet. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Anyone? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Approval of the minutes. The minutes are in your packet too. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Go ahead. Support.
All right, thank you. Now, in discussion, is there a change of any kind to the first page? Any change to the second page? All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we have our first case, but first I would like to explain to you that this is ordinarily a board of 5 people, so there cannot be a tie vote. We are short one person tonight, so anyone who is presenting a case, you have the option of requesting a vote tonight with 4 people, knowing there could be a tie, and if there is a tie, that means it does not go in your favor, or you could request to have it tabled for the next meeting when we have 5 people on the board. So think about that as you present your case. All right, Mr. Gleason, would you call the first case, please?
Yes, case number 05-25, George Kassar at 36611 Jefferson, property number 171230203-037. He is requesting a 20-foot rear yard variance and a 3.85-foot side yard variance for an outdoor walk-in cooler.
Thank you. Would you state your name and address, please?
George Kassar, and it's 36611 Jefferson, Harrison Township.
Thank you. And please present your case, Mr. Kassar.
All right, so we are Jefferson Street Pub on the corner of Jefferson and Hickler Lane. My family took over the bar January of 23, so a little over 2 years ago. The building has existed for a long time. My understanding is the history of the building was the bar was initially on the Hickler half of the building, and there was a barber shop next door, and they slowly took over space, and the inside of these old buildings are all chopped up, as you can imagine. There's only a basement underneath half the building. We are looking at putting a walk-in cooler in the back of the building. It's the zoning requirements are what they are, but the existing building is only 12 feet away from the property line. So to say that we need to be 20 feet away is kind of a little crazy, but we wouldn't be able to put anything back there. But we're not interfering with anybody's space here. It's just a 10 by 12 pad behind our building, between our building and the fence line. There's a neighbor behind us. He's already said he doesn't care. He actually owns a bar. He owns a bar in Mount Clemens. We told him that we'd put up a privacy fence. Oh, Doug, there he is. Oh, Doug's there. I'll put up a privacy fence to even make it look nicer for him. But it doesn't obstruct anybody's view. We're not putting any big spotlights. We're not going above the building. It's already there. We already built it, and we were doing some renovations on the inside, and I didn't realize that this was something that we needed to get approval for first. So it's just a space for us to put kegs in the summertime. That's it. We're running 2 air conditioning units in there to keep it cold in the summertime. And the back of our building, we have storage in the back room. In the wintertime, it's great. It's cold. In the summertime, that room reaches like 100 degrees. And my kegs of beer get warm. So that's literally all we want to do is have the kegs sit in there during the summertime, build this cooler up. It's sided, it's got roofing on it, it blends in with the building, it's not an eyesore to anybody. Like I said, the neighbor on the other side of the fence has a shed right up against the back of the fence. That's the pizza place and hair salon. So they're using the back alley, it's not an alley, but the back space between our building and the property line, same as we are. So we just want to use it for a keg cooler.
Thank you
That's it.
very much.
Answer any questions if you got any.
How loud is the cooler?
How
Does it make-
loud?
Does it make no, I mean, how much
No,
noise
it's
does it
it's
make?
literally gonna, it's a window air conditioning unit
Okay.
is what runs to keep it cool.
As you pointed out when you opened up, the existing back of your building is within 12 feet of the property line. So you're already, in a sense,
I'm
non-conforming.
assuming it's grandfathered in.
Right.
I mean, the building's been there forever.
No, I
as far as
think we're
can
going to
tell.
probably have to take it all, but no, I'm just teasing, I'm just teasing. But no, that's an important point you make, that I noted.
Thank you.
Has anyone here, can we talk? Has anyone here been out to the,
I tried, I couldn't see a thing.
yeah,
I-
it's not, he's not impeding on anyone else's.
No, but I mean, I couldn't see past your privacy
Right.
fence, and I drove all around, and I
Yep.
just gave up.
It's literally already there anyway, so it's.
The only concern I would have, but again, you're already with it, like, these setbacks sometimes have to do, like, I think they have to do sometimes with like fires and stuff like that, like, like, there was a case I was familiar with in Mount Clemens where there was a fire and it actually affected the neighbor's, property because they were too close to the
Yeah,
property line,
we're-
but you're already there,
We're in
you know what I
the
mean?
rear corner of his lot,
Okay.
nowhere near. his
And there's
house.
nothing nowhere near your house at all, go ahead.
Sir, would
Yeah.
you come, give
Come
us
up to
your
the mic,
name and
yeah.
address, please? Well, we,
Yeah, just come up and talk to
sir,
the
we
mic.
just need you
I'm
for the
Doug
record.
Anderson. I'm the next door neighbor. Lived there for 35 years.
What's your address then, too?
27221 Hickler Lane,
Okay, and what was your first name again?
Douglas.
Douglas, okay.
Okay, the only thing I got a problem with is they're using that to put kegs in. Well, these keg trucks come at 7, 8 in the morning, 9 o'clock. They're bouncing them 5 feet from my bedroom window. I'm battling cancer right now, and it's a pain in my ass, to tell you the truth. But if he agrees to put up a fence, to try to keep some of that noise down, I'll stay right out of it. But as it is right now, I want to see like a guaranteed fence at the minimum. That's what I got to say on the matter.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
appreciate it.
There's a neighbor referenced in here, the one you said has no problem with, that's.
Douglas.
That's him.
That was a
There's-
neighbor.
There's not another person, okay.
Yeah, and actually, and to his point about the noise, we've been dealing with that as well. I mean, we're delaying our deliveries to be later and later. I don't know what the noise ordinance times are around here, to be honest with you. They usually come after 7 o'clock, but we can have them come later regardless. But we're happy to put up the privacy fence goes halfway down as it is right now. We're just we'll finish it all the way down.
Is it gonna come around the other side too and start heading towards Jefferson or just to the,
That side already has one.
oh, that side already has one?
And that one's literally 12 feet.
Okay,
That was there when I got there. I don't know if the neighbor put that in or if we put it
so
in.
this being Jefferson here, this is your back.
Correct.
You're saying there's already a privacy fence here?
Well, that building, the building's
building.
connected.
It's a
The privacy
building.
fence is literally just the back.
Okay,
Just
this part?
just here.
Oh, okay, just in that part,
The
okay.
next
This is
building
part of
is
it,
here.
okay, so there's already
Yeah.
I got you, I got
That's
you.
why I
And
couldn't
they have
see
a shed on
anything.
the other
Yeah.
side of their fence.
Gotcha,
So I'm assuming
okay,
They put the fence up. We didn't.
okay, I got you.
And you think that will deaden enough of the noise?
I always thought they couldn't make noise out there before 9 a.m. They're out there bouncing barrels down the alleyway at 7 o'clock. I don't sleep at night. Like you said, I own a bar also. A lot of nights I'm just getting sleeping good by 7 a.m. and that thing's binging and banging. That's my only concern. I'd like to see it after 9 o'clock and put a fence up to muffle it a little.
you're probably not getting to sleep till 3:30 in the morning. Yeah.
Right. Is that doable?
Oh, absolutely,
AM?
absolutely doable. I mean, the only thing I'll say is whether we put the cooler in or not, it doesn't really change that because our deliveries go down that back
Alley.
sidewalk anyways, and they just come in the back door into our building. So all they're doing is putting them in the cooler instead of coming into our building. They're still making the deliveries and
Right.
coming down. But, right, but we're more than happy to put up a privacy fence. We'll put up a 6-foot, whatever the privacy fence is. Make it wooden.
But you have control over the delivery times?
Yeah, we'll tell the guys to come. We've already told them to come. He's talked to them. We talked to them. We told them to come later. I mean, you know, we have so much that we can do with them. We tell them what time to come. I mean,
They don't tell you what time to come, George, you tell them what.
yeah, we'll tell them to come after 9. We don't have an issue with that.
So we're good?
Which bar do you own in Mount Clemens? Okay.
Anyone else in the audience have a comment? Then I think we'll go into board discussion.
Well, it appears that the hardship is he's landlocked. Really not a lot he can do. I mean, you can't put it inside. He's already out there. I mean, the cooler's been there for how many years?
He just put the cooler.
A few months ago.
Oh, I thought it was already there for like
Yeah,
a few
the
years.
space has been there. We just actually put the cooler up.
Okay, okay.
And he's losing product in the summer.
That's our biggest problem.
His building is already 12 feet
Yeah.
from the property
Yeah.
line as opposed to 20 feet. So,
Right.
I mean, to make him, conform now when he's already.
Impossible.
Not his fault, it's already non-conforming.
Any other comments? Well, if there are no comments, is there a motion?
I'll try to make a motion. I move to approve the variance based on the hardship that his land he's already within the setbacks that's required. There's nothing he can do. I mean, he's losing product. He cannot put this anywhere else. He's already within the setbacks. So I don't know how to put this into a motion, but I move to approve this based on his potential loss of product and the fact that his rear setback is already within,
Within 20 feet.
12.
The required setback.
Within the 20 feet.
Required setback.
so, yeah, so.
Yeah.
A bit of a train wreck, but
It's a good
it might work.
motion. Is there support?
I'll support it.
Thank you. Mr. Gleason, would you take the?
Yes, Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Mr. Leonetti?
Yes.
Mr. Gleason, yes. Ms. Torp?
Yes. So the motion passes.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Because that was a smooth motion.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be good to be neighborly and do that fence, Yeah, cool,
Oh, I think he's going to.
cool.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, because we can't order it.
No, but they made an agreement.
They made an agreement. Good.
I know we can't.
Yep, okay.
Okay. Our next case, if you would read it, Mr. Gleason.
Yes, case number 06-25, Paradise Group LLC at 37400 Jefferson, property number 171229126-004. They are requesting a construction of an existing building in the same footprint.
And who is here to present the case? Thank you.
Brian Howard with HF Architecture,
I'll do the same.
512 North Main Street in Royal Oak. So I'm the architect for the project. We have our ownership here as well. We have our contractor here. We met with Brent and his group, and what happened out of that meeting was that we knew to keep the existing footprint of the structure that's there, which then led us to be in front of you today, which is to renovate and rebuild an existing structure on the same footprint that currently sits there. We are keeping the 12,750 square feet of the existing banquet facility, as well as we are, I don't know if you know the facility, but it's very short ceilings in that structure. It's obviously been in disrepair, deteriorating. And so our ownership group has, once they finished Geno Surf, now they're moving to the second phase of their project, which is to completely renovate and redo the banquet facility event center that's there. The idea is to, again, keep it within the same footprint of what the structure currently sits at today, as well as reskin the whole structure. We're not changing our parking. We're meeting our parking. So we're not asking for a parking variance. We're asking for basically to renovate a structure that's currently already there. Did you get the renderings?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. I have larger copies if you'd like to see them as well. This project is, certainly new restrooms, main bar area, banquet, event center, 290 seats within that, opening up the back wall to open to the water, to an outdoor patio covered area, as well as obviously merging with what they've already accomplished with the Geno Surf project. The idea is to add height, so the building gets 12 feet taller than what currently sits there. We are also redoing the whole outdoor canopy porte cochere, how you drive in to the structure and drop people off at the main entrance. And their idea is, with the name of the structure, it's to provide lake views. And so what we've done is we've opened the whole inside of the structure up, so when you walk through the front door, you are literally looking out to the lake, out to the water. And I'm more than happy to show you at a larger scale. So that is the entry, as the car needs to be flipped because it's actually driving that way. But this is the main entrance, which currently is where it sits today.
So there'd be a house over here.
There is a house over here. That's
Right,
correct.
okay.
And I didn't draw the lift thing that sits here.
Okay.
So I did not draw that. We did not do that. This is the, looking at it from the other direction. If you know that there's an existing fountain right here.
Yep.
And there's a drive here, and then another drive here. We've chosen to eliminate that and landscape that, so that you actually have 2 rows of parking for stacking as cars are pulling up and going to drop people off, and then exiting, going to the parking lot. And then this is a view from the water. So this is actually, these are actually folding doors that open up to the water, as well as canopies that come out to protect people who want to be out and they're not baking to death in the hot sun in August. Everything, as I stated before, it's 12 feet higher than it currently sits, which is under our 30 feet.
And that's
So-
represented here.
Yeah, this is
12 feet
28
higher.
feet.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
And we're going to probably have 18 to 19-foot ceilings inside the space. And it's intended to be broken into 2 smaller or 1 larger banquet facility. So they have the ability to be very flexible in terms of what they can, if they have smaller events going on, or they have a large event going on. So, I'm more than
Very
happy
nice.
to answer any questions.
I got a question. So, I get it, it's an existing building, and you're gonna build on the existing footprint. But the problem, I guess, that we have, and the reason why you're here, is that the existing footprint does not conform. That's the problem we have, right?
It does not.
So the existing one does not in conformance. So the footprint that's there now, like if you're going to build on that new footprint, it doesn't conform with what today's standards are. That's why we're here now, unfortunately. Well, what I'd rather have you do, sir, is come up to the mic. Can you come up to the mic and talk, or have him talk?
It just has to be registered.
Yeah, we have to register it, right?
My name is Isam Sami. I'm one of the owners.
Okay.
For the footprints, exactly for the banquet, we did, I think, a soil test, or it requested by the city, by Brandt, maybe 2 years ago, and we sent it to the city.
No, I think, yeah, and that's great. No, I think,
Just to confirm that.
no,
the new
I
structure-
don't doubt that you're doing everything by the book. Just understand, the only reason why you're here is because you want to build on the existing footprint, which is great. You're not trying to expand, you're not trying to get
Yes.
more or anything like that. The only problem is, the existing footprint is non-conforming, which then, that's what caused you folks to have to come in front of our board. Now, here's a little bit of the problem. I'm not saying it's your only, but what's the hardship? What's the hardship you have? Because according to our rules, you know, there's rules about reconstruction for non-conforming buildings. So one of the things we have to show, or one of the things I would like to have articulated to me, to help you maybe, is tell me what your hardship is.
So I believe that the hardship is, as I stated in my letter, is it is a non-conforming structure.
Okay.
And the fact that we are keeping the perimeter of it. We're not just stripping all the walls down to footings. We're leaving the exterior walls. We're replacing windows because they're broken and there's birds flying through there and all kinds of stuff. So we're keeping a majority. I'm going to say right now, we're keeping 70% of the existing structure, which there was a discussion that happened when we were in front of Brent and his group, a committee, that was, well, if you're going to get rid of 50% of it, then that kicks you into new construction. We then went back to the drawing board and we said, no, we're not doing that. We're saving 40% of the roof framing, we're saving every exterior wall. So I'm cleaning up an issue, I guess, which is that it's a building that is falling apart. So in my mind, the hardship is the fact that we are trying to invigorate an existing building that, for
It's
lack of
already
a bet-
non-conforming, is what you're trying to say?
we're not expanding on the nonconformity,
Right.
and we're also trying to utilize, and I'll even say it's 70 to 75% of the existing structure that we're keeping. If we were having to go to the quote-unquote setbacks of the zoning ordinance, we'd have a small little building sitting right off of Jefferson. So I always believed that when they first came to me was, if we're not expanding to nonconformity and we're keeping a majority of the structure that's there, then that is our hardship. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, at least you articulated something. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I may be paraphrasing you, but I think I thought of it. You're not expanding.
Right.
And you're invigorating a building that is already there, that's non-conforming. And, you know, the hardship is, you know, why have
Well, I think that this board has made several approvals based upon existing structure and front elevations of one particular building or another, as long as they continue that same
Footprint?
setback.
Okay.
Or front footprint in that particular case. The example that I'm using, I think we've sort of given some leniency to that effect, but I certainly see your point.
So the other thing I will state too is, and I do have a photo of the existing covered canopy or the porte cochere, which you currently drive under. And I'll just show you this image only because these are stained. So So as you look at it today, these are going away. But this whole footprint that exists there today is remaining. We're reskinning it, yes, and we're putting different roofs on it and things like that. But literally the footprint has not changed whatsoever.
The height, is the height that
This
is staying?
this is this is 16 feet.
Okay.
It's going 12 feet taller. And these two piers go up to match that height. So the 25 feet, 26
Okay.
feet. We're under our 30 feet.
You're under 30 feet. This is exactly what here? What is that? That's going to be
28.
28 feet. Okay.
And Brent's okay with that, the height.
He said
Brent's
as long as
group.
we were under 30.
30, right. They got to swim under 30.
I've been to your facility many times. Very nice. You guys did an excellent job. Yeah, you are doing your best. It's a fantastic place. Very nice.
And
Food's
this
excellent, too.
this will be on the same caliber of
Oh.
they've asked me numerous times or told me numerous times that we need to take what we did at Geno Surf and we need to move it over to this new facility.
Did you say it would be connected? Did you-
It's physically connected, and there's access from the existing kitchen into the banquet facility by
Oh, okay.
in and out egress, but it has its own separate entrance, its own exit. Patrons cannot get from Geno Surf without having to go outside and then into the banquet facility. So there's only, employees can only go from one to the other.
My daughter was baptized, or had her baptism ceremony there, so I'm familiar with the place.
Is there enough water to get some docks out there this year? Oh, the permitting? Oh, okay.
It's a whole other thing you got to deal with.
I'm sure a lot of people would love to.
Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment from the podium? Please, sir.
Good evening. My name is Paul DePore. I'm standing in for John Andler. I'm his attorney. He owns the property that's next door, 37370 Jefferson, which is zoned single-family residential. And
Is it the one, I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, it's the one next to Geno's, it's the one next, not, it's going to be next to
no,
the banquet
it's
hall.
right next
Yeah.
to the reconstruction.
I know where it's at, yep.
Yeah. As you're facing the facility, it would be
It's to the
immediately
right.
to the right.
Yep, I know the building, the house.
There's a zero lot line currently that Geno's has there. My client's concern, he sent me this public notice, and obviously there's a concern by the township, Article 16 regarding non-conforming lots, uses, and structures, and reconstruction under subsection G, which is referenced in the public notice. It was my understanding coming in here that this was a demo with a reconstruction to a certain extent, and that's kind of what I'm understanding. What I don't have clarity on is whether it meets the standard with the demolition work. You have to come in compliance with the new ordinance, the ordinances that exist today, if the cost of reconstruction exceeds 50% of the replacement cost of the structure. Now, the gentleman stated that there's going to be some elements left, but I'm not getting a clear answer on whether or not the cost to do this exceeds 50% of replacing the structure itself. So I don't know if that standard is met. If it's not met, then it does have to come in conformance and compliance with the current code. And the code, when there's a general commercial property like this, adjacent to a property like my client's, which is single-family residential, this is considered under the Article 6 regarding fencing and screening, 6.02, this is a major impact zone, which under 6.03 sub C states what kind of wall is required between the two properties, and there are also setback requirements. requirements. There are different options that are provided. Option 1 requires a 6-foot decorative masonry wall with a 10-foot wide landscape green belt between the wall and the building. In lieu of the wall, the Planning Commission could allow a 6-foot high fence, which is not able to be seen through, and a 15-foot wide landscape green belt. I'm not going to go through the specifics of the specific language here, but there are things that are required to protect residential property next to a general commercial use application. And another thing that concerns me, I wasn't aware of coming into tonight, is that this is an expansion of a non-conforming use by virtue of the height of the building going up 12 feet higher than the existing non-conforming structure. So I question whether that can be done under this circumstance, because what they're planning is to expand on a non-conforming structure, which 12 feet, I'm assuming, is another floor, and you've got people are now going to be able to look into my client's property. So that is a major concern that my client would have. I have it. I mean, just listening to that proposal. So obviously, there's no specific plan here. I don't know how preliminary this is, but I think these are items that the ZBA should consider when considering this request right now.
I have a question in regard to what you talked about. I don't think there was any intentions to have a second floor. I think your statement was 12-foot ceilings or what you're.
Second floor.
Okay.
The reason for the additional height, and I disagree, I think as a non-conforming structure, if you keep it within the footprint and the planes, just because you add height to it, in my opinion, does not change the non-conformity of that. Only when you change the footprint of something. To answer your question, no, there is not a second floor on this. This is really to get some additional height within the structure itself. Because right now, you have 10-foot ceilings in there. And obviously, as we know, banquet facilities are hard to work in 10-foot ceilings.
And there's
That's-
no windows on that side either, right?
Not up to where his
Second
house
floor.
is, no. And there's no second floor.
No
So
second floor windows.
the highest the windows go is 12 feet off the floor. That's the highest they go. Now, if it's up to the board to introduce a masonry wall to screen our driveway from his client, 100% we will do that.
So did that
That's
not,
the Planning Commission.
yeah, so did that
That's
not
a
come?
Planning Commission issue that you talked, not to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
But those requirements that you're talking about would come from the Planning Commission. Our job as the ZBA
Mm-hmm.
is just to say, you can do this, we're gonna give you a variance, or we're not.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty yes or no.
Sure.
But the Planning Commission would be involved in some of the, and I don't know how you want to call it, new construction or reconstruction, you know what I mean? But the Planning Commission will be involved, to answer some of your concerns.
To soften the space between this building and your clients.
Correct.
Well, the other thing too is, we could absolutely put a 10-foot green belt between the edge of our driveway and that property line. That's not a problem either. We are 4.5 feet off of the property line, but not where his house is. We're way down by where the boat lift is. That's currently there, that is an eyesore, which I don't know who owns that, but
Good neighbors rise good fences and good greenbacks, or whatever you call it, You guys should probably talk, it's something that might have to be discussed as you go through the Planning Commission, you know what I mean, as you go through that.
well, we were told if we come before you, we don't have to go to planning commission.
Probably don't, but, he could raise issues with the Planning Commission too.
When we were with Brent and his group, because it's an existing structure, because we're renovating and not expanding an existing footprint, we were told that you just need to, because it falls under 16.1 section, to basically take a non-conforming structure and you're renovating it. But that's
What
I
about
understand.
his comments about the costs?
So that did come up when we met with Brett as well. And what we came to the conclusion of was we are not over 50% to quote-unquote bring it up to standard. We have major leaks in that. We got to replace the roof. We have to replace all the windows because they're broken. You walk into that space, there's no heating and cooling, there's no electrical, there's absolutely nothing in there right now. So to bring it up to standard of what the building code tells me I have to do, we're not much more above that, in my opinion, and we have our contractor here. He can certainly discuss that better than I. But that, in my opinion, is we talked to that group about this because when he brought it up, we said, well, geez, that's going to eliminate us tearing down the structure to footings and rebuilding it, because that would have been way over. So we then, at that point, decided to keep a majority of the structure and keep it intact as much as we could. So,
I have a question for you before you leave. This group was before us in the past, and they requested a variance for a different facade material. Are you still maintaining that same material?
no,
Okay,
we are
so
not.
So what you're maintaining, what you're going to be putting on is going to be conforming to what?
It's more consistent
ordinance?
with the Geno Surf, which is what currently is there. The only difference between what the current Geno Surf facade looks like in comparison to what we're doing is we're not doing the marble panels, but we're extending the block work, the brick work. We're extending the stucco material to wrap the whole building. So in our mind, we want to make this cohesive, seamless, so it looks like one ownership. Right now, it looks like apples and oranges out there. So that's the intent.
So the variance that you were provided before, you don't need?
No, that one's
I just wanted to
gone.
clarify that. Okay.
Correct.
I just wonder what we're here for tonight. If it sounds like this gentleman doesn't believe that there's really an issue here. I don't, I'm seeing here the reason of Article 16, 1601G, non-conforming lots, uses, and structures. The gentleman says that they're not going to exceed the 50%, but I don't know if there's no concrete proof that they aren't going to. So I don't know how they've presented a case that would allow the ZBA at this point to make it, to pass their request. I don't know if there's, I don't know what the other issue would be. So, it sounds like that is the issue, and that issue has not been clarified. I would think that the moving party, or the party that's bringing this request, would maybe present a budget and do a comparison between the cost to do the work versus the cost to replace. I don't know. That's the standard required by the ordinance as to whether or not they need to come into compliance with code as far as setbacks
Question.
and fencing.
The contractor's here, right? Contractor was part of the group that met with Brent. We have him come up?
So was this kind of thing done in your meeting with Brent? The cost,
Analysis?
provided the cost
I don't know, there
analysis?
would,
At that point, because we didn't have any.
it wouldn't have required a variance at that point.
Right.
We had our discussion with him was more about a bigger picture, which was, do we tear it down or do we not? And when it was decided that you can't, you gotta keep a majority of the structure, we went down the road of designing it to meet that criteria. So we didn't put original budget numbers, but it was understood when we were at that meeting that clearly we needed to keep that, we had to be below that threshold.
And Brent was satisfied that you were?
He was, because Andy and Brent, came to, basically, we went to them and said, okay, we're gonna submit this for a variance under 16.1, and we are comfortable with it going under the umbrella of renovating an existing structure and rebuilding an existing structure, as stated in that section.
I think it would have been appropriate if that gentleman was here to say what he said versus if this gentleman is representing what he said. So I don't, it's unfortunate that he's not here to say
Well,
that.
maybe the contractor can speak to numbers in specific.
I'm Sean with Shaw Construction Management, chief estimator for them. We were brought in, I don't know, it's probably been 2 or 3 years now, working with the team here, trying to come up with solutions, both cost as well as functionality with meeting the guidelines of what the city requirements were and so on and so forth. So when we looked at trying to meet the setbacks and all of that, what costs that came up that became a lot of burden to the owners were that you have to now move the building into your parking space. So now not only do you have to move the building into the parking space, now you have to come up with a new parking lot, which adds a significant amount of cost in order to accommodate the patrons to the local, or to the building. So the cost to the building also takes that into consideration of the overall cost to fix, or to rebuild the structure itself, if that makes sense.
It does, but what I think we were trying to further understand, and I don't necessarily know if we have the information tonight, is what the actual cost to renovate this building as it stands today, as it's
To renovate
illustrated.
it as is with the design that we're talking about now.
Yeah, and the design you're talking about today
Yep.
on the existing footprint versus the same square footage, the same type of building adhering to this, that's conforming to the setbacks.
Cost to renovate the building, per the design that we have now, we're talking between 3.5 and 4.
Okay.
If we were to renovate, or to tear it completely down, I'm sorry? Yeah, I mean, it's probably more like 3 times the amount.
So, and what's the
Due-
square?
Due to a lot of the, setback requirements, parking lot issues that get created.
12,750 is a square foot of the existing building, the banquet
Just the
room.
banquet part, right? Yep.
Yeah. And there, it's even more than that because of the flow of the building right now is where the banquet hall sits now. The kitchen is between both the restaurant as well as the banquet hall. And the kitchen serves both spaces. And so if you were to have to relocate that, you also now have to take into consideration renovating the kitchen to meet the new layout, which adds a significant amount of cost to that, obviously. So between all of those and doing rough budgets on those, it didn't really make sense at all to have to relocate, because in all theory, you're reconfiguring the whole property at that point. So, working with Brent and our team, we kind of came up with this idea that kind of worked within the guidelines to be able to meet everything that the city is basically looking for with regard to the non-conforming, and trying to minimize the amount of change that we're doing to the property itself, as well as the view of the building. So, hopefully that's helpful.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
My client wanted to stress tonight, I hadn't mentioned this, that he's never complained about Geno's next door. That's despite the fact that the architect had admitted that there are broken windows all along there. That part's been abandoned for years. It's an eyesore. This is the first time he's mentioned a concern. And he's concerned because, it's a residence next to a zero lot line structure. And he realizes that this juncture, this is his opportunity to get some cooperation in making sure that there is going to be some privacy provided beyond what is currently in place. And if they're going to spend the money, $3 million to make an improvement for their business, I think there should be money in the budget to make sure that there is a good privacy fence where applicable. Mr. Leonetti, you mentioned that this would typically, next step would go in front of the planning commission, but now I've heard that it's not going to, so if this
Well-
is final,
Yeah, I mean, we're just a yes or no,
yeah,
right? We can't put, you heard the other case before us, right? The 2 guys were talking, we couldn't tell the guy, you can do the cooler conditioned upon you doing the fence. We can either say yes or no. That, like, jurisdictionally, that's our authority, right? What really would work, and it's good that you came here and raised these concerns, and to you gentlemen there who are the owners and stuff, and the planner, is for you guys to really keep government out of it and talk, right? Talk to each other, and talk, what he's asking isn't unreasonable at all under the circumstances at all. And it's attainable too, from what it sounds like. And that might solve your problem, you know, and that's, you know, that's what the good thing about this hearing is for us to, you know, we're either yes or no, but hearing everybody come here and present their sides, there's probably a, you know, resolution. I mean, Abraham Lincoln would have told you, you know, best thing to do is get along with your neighbors, you know? Sure.
He's our neighbor. We're
Right.
not gonna make him happy.
Of course not.
We're not trying to do business in there, and we are happy, and our neighbor not happy.
Right.
Of course, 100% we will take care of it. We put bigger fence, you got it, which is, we just changed it 2 years ago, but no problem, we're gonna change it for you. And this is the only things it is, which is, we will do it. We're not trying to see our neighbor upset, and we
Okay.
are drinking and having fun, and all the people, no, we're not trying to do that.
All right, well, are there any assurances of this?
Again, you know, I'm an attorney, you could always sue, not necessarily us, but them, you know what I mean, if you feel they're not doing
Well,
something.
if they're technically
But you guys should
in
talk.
compliance
You
with
guys
the
should talk,
ordinance at
right,
that
I know.
point, then
But you
there's
should
nothing to
talk.
sue about.
Right, you should talk, is really what you guys should do.
We don't have authority.
We don't have authority, right?
Instead.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't think at this point that they presented,
I understand your position.
When is the work scheduled to be, to start on this banquet side?
In midsummer,
Midsummer, so
and then about 10 months of construction.
10 months of construction, so midsummer,
Does that mean July?
yeah, are you talking July then? So July.
So starting in July, finishing by April and May of next year.
In standing on.
Well, I'm assuming, then let me ask a follow-up on the timing issue, then if, does delaying this decision today affect your permitting process and your timeline? It slows it.
Yeah, unfortunately, the month, you know, we were hoping for approval this evening to then move it to the next step, which is a permitting drawings and bid package that he needs to be able to then tell ownership, this is what it's gonna cost. But if we get bumped back a month, that just bumps everything back a month.
Put you in
unfortunately-
August then.
Which is really too bad because that would be disheartening because it doesn't allow us to get necessary clothes in by winter, which allows us to do the interior work, so it's a whole sequencing of events.
So what kind of assurances is your client looking for?
Well, I think he's looking to make sure that there is an adequate privacy fence between the, if they're going to not change the footprint, that there's adequate privacy fence provided between the two lots. I'm sorry?
We don't have the authority on this
That's the
board.
problem,
But it
right?
could be
Just-
part, maybe part of your drawings that you
Oh, 100%,
submit?
we can include it.
When you
Yeah,
sub-
we would agree tonight to absolutely put that in, and then in the meanwhile, ownership can go, you know, and figure out what he actually wants.
That's part of your drawings for your permitting.
Yes.
Right.
And let me put one thing, our neighbor, he never show up and he say, I need better fence, or this one when you change, he never mentioned. I said, well, he will mention
It's
it,
correct.
we will take care of
He's-
it.
The gentleman said this is his opportunity to do so, and that's what he's doing.
I would even go a step a little bit further than that and create the 10-foot green belt against the fence to our driveway and landscape that. So not only would you have a fence, but you'd also have a softened look right there.
I like that, I do.
And from your parking lot, it's going to look better.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a win-win, you know, all the way around.
Okay.
Sounds good, I just don't know if there's an there's.
We can't
I understand
obligate.
your
He just said
predicament.
he'll
You know
include
what?
it in his
Well, you know what,
drawings
listen,
submitting.
listen, have a little faith. Have a little
And you're
faith,
on
he'll
tape,
submit his,
no
he'll
less.
submit his.
Well, actually, what I would say, though, I think you bring up a really good point in terms of the 50% rule. And I think, you know, based on the quick math, and I'm not a developer by any stretch of the imagination, but based on the quick calculation I did to deconstruct, remove, and then move the building to a new conforming area on that property, I think, and of course, I haven't seen the overall budget in person, but based on the numbers that they quoted, I think that that 50% rule appears to be in line from a quick math standpoint.
And
In
think
line in
about
the
this.
sense that it doesn't require conform
In line, in line.
with the setbacks?
In line in the sense that as long as, in my opinion, my interpretation of the ordinances and the variances that we're potentially approving here, that in the sense that if the existing building went in the exact same footprint, that would be a decision that we could, that we as a board could approve, because I think the 50% rule in this case would be met. And it sounds as though Brent also gave reassurance to the petitioner, or I'm sorry, the applicant, that was the case as well.
Okay, well, I mean, my client's concern obviously was the reference to that section, so we want to make sure that that,
Was addressed.
I mean, I almost thought it was going to be a tear down. It sounds like initially they were considering that, but then they changed their mind after they found out what their options are.
So his privacy from no windows in the additional 12 feet that's being added, that would violate his privacy, is a non-issue since there are no windows and it's not a new floor.
There's no
Correct?
new floor.
Okay, so that.
There's no new floor, as well as the edge of the building back about 25 feet is where the windows occur. So it's already kind of right in line with almost that boat lift that's there. So again, his house is quite a bit off the water.
But your windows are at ground level. They're not,
They're
not at the
about
roof.
They're about that far off the ground.
Right.
And then they go 12 feet from grade. So it's
Right.
up about 3 feet and then 9 or 10 feet
Right.
taller.
But there's not a situation of peering into his home from windows?
There is.
I think most of it's parking lot, where the house is.
yeah. And your client has seen nothing but improvement since these gentlemen bought this facility. And
Well,
they
it's
will-
on the other side of the lot.
And they will continue to see
Yeah.
nothing but
I
improvement.
mean, another thing obviously is, there's an outdoor patio back there and there's a lot of noise. So it's something that's been inconvenient as a residential property owner there. So, like I said, he's never complained about Geno's. He just wants to make sure at this point that
Sure.
he can, sounds like they're going to be cooperative in providing privacy measures. So I'll talk to my client
Also,
about
Yep.
that.
the new outdoor patio off the back of the banquet does not wrap around the building at all. It stops at the edge of the building. So noise is going to go out towards Lake St. Clair and not necessarily wrap around,
Is there a band or music on that
not on
patio?
that patio,
Okay.
only on the other patio.
Okay.
Just like a patio from the bank.
Just for people to just be able to.
Just
go
for
outside
conversation,
and
not
have
music?
cocktails.
Okay.
It's gonna be most likely for pictures. Pictures with the view, lake view, everybody loves it.
We have another place in Harrison Township where there is a band where the music has to stop at 10 PM because it's a residential area. Sir? Are you satisfied? As much as you can be?
I'm not satisfied in the sense that we don't have a concrete cost analysis, putting the two side by side. Because I think there's been discussion and some numbers mentioned, but, I haven't seen plans and so I'm not convinced that that's going to if the board is inclined to grant this, then we'll put the current owners and builders and stated on the record tonight that they're going to take measures to ensure privacy. I mean, we're not asking to tear down the zero lot line building.
No, I don't think anyone,
As a businessman, he understands that, there's got to be progress.
he has said he doesn't want his neighbor unhappy.
100%. And actually, he never went to us and he asked us
That's
for
okay.
anything we will do for him with no problem. You don't have to show up in here. He just can walk and say, you know what, I need 1, 2, 3, we will do it for him. I don't want to be in my Geno's happy and he give me eagle face or something. I don't want to see that. He's my neighbor. We have to take care of it.
We will include wall, whether it's masonry or however it gets,
Okay.
however we make the decision agreed with him, because some
Okay.
people don't like to see a solid
Brick
brick
wall.
or block wall,
Right.
right? So if vinyl's a better solution than a masonry wall, then we'll do whatever, he wants. And again, I would propose that we would absolutely do some landscaping as well.
Okay.
To really even soften it, and extend the landscaping up even probably past the edge of our building too. So,
Just so you understand, we don't allow cinder block walls. So
Okay.
if you did have to put a wall in, it would have to be brick and mortar,
No problem.
not cinder block.
No
We've already
problem.
been down that road before.
Oh, no cinder block.
Yeah, no cinder. Gotcha. Communicate with each other. I think that's gonna be your best bet for assurances, from your standpoint.
Okay, any other discussion from the audience? So we'll go into and board discussion.
I think we've done enough.
Yeah, I would agree.
A lot of
I
discussion.
agree.
Yeah, we've had a lot.
I'd be willing to make a motion.
Okay,
I think you should do it.
I make a motion to approve the reconstruction of the existing building in the same footprint based on the analysis that we've concluded the cost to renovate as compared to the cost to rebuild the entire property or the entire structure itself is within the allowable percentages.
and the hardship.
I believe the hardship has been proven by the petitioner in that I don't necessarily,
It's not necessarily necessary as
Yeah,
much as
yeah.
the 50% threshold.
I think that the threshold to approve this motion has been proven by the petitioner, and so long as he stays within the existing footprint.
Is there support for that motion?
I'll support it.
Thank you. Mr. Gleason, would you take roll?
Mr. Gleason, yes. Mr. Leonetti?
Yes.
Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Ms. Stork?
Yes. Congratulations.
No problem.
Let's get say, please talk.
Okay, so, which one of you guys know George Hanish?
George Hanish?
You know George Hanish?
None of us.
None of you?
No?
Who's the DJ?
Okay.
Who's DJ?
Godfather DJ?
Yes.
He's our management. We are the three owners.
You three right there? Okay. Are you,
Thank you
rel-
very much, guys. Appreciate
You're welcome. Yep, take care. Yep.
Thank you.
Talk with each other. Yeah, I know you
it.
will.
Never knock the door.
No, you'll talk now. Now you can go over there.
It's a $3.5 million new construction. We're not gonna build wall for what, $15,000?
Exactly. You guys are talking. We know you will.
we understand.
We have faith. We have faith. We have faith. Yeah, we have faith. Ciao. Take care. Nice meeting you. Take care. Thank you. Yep.
Coming, sir.
Yep. Yep. Take care. Well, communication's key, so hopefully they communicate. I think they will.
He said this is my client's opportunity
Yeah.
to bring these up.
Absolutely.
Okay, so no old business, no new business, I think, no announcements, no public comments, clearly. And the next meeting is June 10th. And so we may adjourn if there's
Motion to
no
adjourn.
objection.
Supported.
But, okay, so moved. I just learned the other day in a parliamentary class that that you can say, if there's no objection, the meeting is adjourned. I always thought you needed a motion and a
Yeah,
support.
there's old school and new school.
I know, yeah.